Most businesses take 3 to 6 months to know if a decision worked. Oftentimes, by then, it's too late to pivot without massive losses. But when one farmer's revenue dropped 75% every single winter, he survived using a 10-day feedback system that let him pivot before those losses mounted and catastrophe struck. There's a lot involved in this one. Let's get into it.
And that's also the beauty of microgreens is that these are 10 to 14 day cycles from planting to harvest. There's a pretty fast reaction time if you're seeing things change in the marketplace, and you can adapt and change things up pretty quickly.
That 10-day pivot was why Curtis stayed in business for as long as he did while other farmers in his area folded. Today, you'll discover the feedback loop framework that lets businesses detect failures fast and pivot cheaply. We're going to cover a lot in this one. I hope you can use it to help in your business. Here we go. At one point, Curtis Stone's farming business faced a seasonality.
Winter, it's a fraction. On my end, winter production just kind of pays the bills. I'm hoping for the best, preparing for the worst.
Kelowna, great city, but it was a tourist town. The population would quadruple in the summer, restaurants would peak, and then it would crash in the winter. And those restaurant sales would go to less than 25% of what they were at their summer highs. Most seasonal businesses dealt with these conditions would fail, but Curtis's didn't. He found a way to actually thrive despite these adverse conditions. His answer? Microgreens, but not for the reason that you'd think.
I've been through it before. I've done pretty big microgreen production in the winter before. So it's not a systems thing that's the issue. It's the customer thing. And I've done it so much now that I know when to hold them and when to fold them. I'm not going to ride it out too long. If sales aren't working, I can pull the plug and change things up pretty quickly.
That 10 to 14 day cycle meant in week 1, he could plant based on current demand. In week 2, see his actual sales response to what he planted. And in week 3, he could adjust production or completely pivot altogether. Compare that to traditional crops where you're locked in for 60 to 90 days between planting and when they mature. Microgreens gave him a huge advantage. You can apply the same strategy, though, to any business. This is like offering weekly trials instead of annual contracts, or launching products in small batches instead of purchasing massive inventory orders before you know how the market's going to respond.
The interesting thing that happens is once you pass the summer solstice, the days get exponentially shorter. So right after the summer solstice, it seems like there's a period of time where the days just seem long. About the end of August, you start to really notice each day is getting shorter and shorter. At this point, you can plant a crop, say August 31st, and then plant another crop the next week. They won't be just a week apart in maturity. They might be 3 weeks to a month apart in maturity because those days get so much shorter, and especially once you get into the colds.
Curtis understood that timing affected everything, but with short cycles, you could adjust. With long cycles, you're stuck. This principle goes beyond just farming. Here's how you could apply it to other businesses. Service businesses could test offers where they offer 30-day trials, not 12-month commitments. Consultants could sell workshops before they sell courses and validate demand before putting in all that work to build out. The principle is clear. The faster your cycles, the more experiments you run per year. The more experiments means the more you learn, and the more you learn, the better your decisions can get.
I definitely don't want it to be costing me money to operate each week or whatever. So you have to be careful there.
Short cycles mean smaller bets. You can afford 10 small failures, oftentimes compared to one catastrophic failure that could be an annual mistake or a business killer. Translation: in reality, this could be a failed 2-week test that costs a few $100 compared to a failed 6-month product launch, which could cost thousands of dollars. To create a system with fast feedback loops, there's 3 essential components. The first is a clear measurement window. For Curtis, it was 10 to 14 days for those microgreens when he went from seed to sale very quickly. Your version might be different. Think about what's the shortest period that would give you meaningful data. A 7-day trial might give you some idea of how a customer is behaving with that product. For a restaurant, it might be one weekend's new menu item. For freelancers, it could be one small project before you launch a big contract. The second essential criterion is preset go, no-go criteria.
There's always going to be a sweet spot that's kind of like, forget it, or you know what, this is probably worth riding out for a bit.
You want to define these thresholds before starting. Minimum viable revenue, maximum acceptable loss, time limit for proof, and what does proof of concept actually look like? Think about that ahead of time before you start, so when you run this quick trial, you can compare it against the metrics you've already put in place. The third thing you need are ready pivot options. In Curtis's case, it looked like this. His greenhouse could switch from growing microgreens to nursery starts very quickly using the same equipment and the same infrastructure. When it comes to your business, think about what else you could use those resources for if plan A fails. What's the pivot look like?
If sales on the microgreens were slow, would you consider just doing them on a small scale, even if sales were slow, to keep yourself in the grocery store, which gives you visibility, which gives you some sort of relationship with that store?
I think so.
Sometimes fast feedback serves a longer strategy besides just getting the feedback itself, such as maintaining shelf space on your customers' shelves during a slow season, keeping relationships warm in the off season until the busy season arrives, and learning customer patterns at a small scale before you dial it up.
I was actually out in the summer pounding the pavement. I've got 2 pretty large size grocery stores that are very committed to buying volume from us.
So in business, you can use fast cycles to maintain presence, even at break even, while building for the bigger opportunity. When it comes to this risk management framework, you need to think about how you can calculate small risks.
Yeah, I'm taking a risk for sure by doing it, but I've done this before. I'm prepared to take that risk.
Curtis had a 3-layer risk protection system. 1, multi-purpose infrastructure. He had a greenhouse that would work for microgreens, workshops, or he could use it as a nursery. For you and your business, ask the question, can your investment serve multiple revenue streams or be used for multiple processes or products? The first one doesn't work out. Layer 2, experience reduces unknowns. When Curtis implemented this microgreen strategy, he already had experience growing them, having grown for the past 6 years. Your version would involve this. Test something in familiar territory first, where you have experience and probably a better gut feel. At the end of the day, gut intuition comes from past successes and failures. So if you have familiarity, you'll be able to make better decisions going into uncharted territory. Layer 3, fast cycles limit exposure. For Curtis, he would know in 2 weeks, not 2 months, whether this works. Your version, ask, How quickly can you detect failure, hopefully sooner than later? If you want to put this fast feedback system into action, here's a 4-week implementation plan. Week 1, identify your longest cycle. What task that you currently do takes so long to validate, and how can you possibly shorten it? Week 2, design your rapid test. Create a 10-day validation version to see how quickly you can test an idea. Week 3, set clear metrics. What results in success? What results in failure? And when do you pivot? And to what? Week 4, execute. Run, measure, and then proceed or pivot based on results.
You got to try stuff and then just see how it works. So you're going into it with a new greenhouse, a full-time employee, see how it goes. You can always adapt on the fly, but if you don't take that chance, if you don't try it, you'll never know.
There's a lesson here that can apply to a lot of businesses. And the key is trying stuff with short feedback loops is fundamentally different from trying stuff with long feedback loops. The businesses that survive aren't necessarily smarter or better funded. They're often ones that can iterate faster and learn faster because they've designed systems and tests for rapid feedback. If you're doing this, your advantage isn't in being right. It's in discovering that you're wrong while it's still cheap to change. So this week, ask yourself, what's your version of the 10-day pivot? Because in business, the faster you learn, the longer you can potentially last. If you enjoyed this episode and you want to learn more from Curtis himself, you can go back to the full-length podcast episode where we talked all about this. It's season 1, week 25 of The Urban Farmer, which I've linked to below. I'm Diego, Diego. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.